resources.
Podcast number 9.
Podcast number
Podcast number
9.
9. Yeah.
Where our mission is
To
help you.
To help people use their minds more productively, to be happier, healthier, and more successful at things like podcasts, right?
And technology. We did practice this
Yeah.
time, and it still didn't quite work out.
Trying to hit the record button. It's tough.
So we thought today we'd talk about the topic of the podcast is how of manifestation is none of your business.
What? None of my business? What are you talking about?
Yeah, it's none of your business. Actually, you said that earlier, so I thought it'd be a good title. And so what we're going to talk about is 3 steps. The what do you want to manifest, and why do you want to manifest, and how.
And who does what?
Who does what? And who's in charge of that?
Of what? And how? What does that look like?
At Stryker, we call that RACI, roles and responsibility matrix.
Mm-hmm.
So it's good to know what your role is and what your responsibility is. That way you can focus on that and let go of the rest. And that makes for a co-creative experience. We talk a lot about co-creation. It's not always co-creating with another person. We're always co-creating with the universe.
Yep.
And subconscious mind. It's a dance. So we want to talk about that.
A lot of people on that dance. Yeah.
Well, we're all on that dance.
Yeah, crowded dance floor.
It's an ecstatic dance. It can be an ecstatic dance if you want it to be. So we'll start with the what. Can I go with that?
No, we start with the why, because we all creation starts with the inside out. So the most important thing is the why. When Tony Robbins says, when the why is big enough, you'll take action. And I think that's true.
Well, you need to know what you want to figure out the why.
No, the why. The why is more important.
But how would you know the why if you don't know the what?
Well, if you don't know why you want to create, then what doesn't matter. You're already walking down the wrong path. So the what is outside of yourself.
I'm like a huge...
The what is outside of yourself, right? Unless your creation is the creation of yourself, which is the ultimate creation is the creation of yourself.
I think I'm having a realization in this very moment, because I think the way that I've noticed myself when I'm dissatisfied is I will see something that someone is doing or having, and I will want that thing. And then I would feel upset or potentially jealous or frustrated that I don't have the thing that they have.
Of the what?
Of the what. But it sounds like it's because what I need to do is go, well, why?
Right. It starts with the why.
And if I look at the why.
Yeah, I knew what. What was clear the day I was born.
I don't always know.
I had what. So at the age of 43, I had 12 houses, car, truck, boat, everything. Totally miserable. Why? Because I didn't have a why. I had the what, and it was clear, but I had no whys, and so I was miserable. So I will say, and that we're open to discussion. If you have thoughts on this, come and debate with us. We'll even invite you to be on the podcast if you've got some great ideas. But I'm going to say that creation from the inside out is the most fulfilling. So when we start with the why do I want this? Why also is its purpose. It's the purpose. So purpose is what I'm building in myself, which is the ultimate creation, is me. So while we create these things, we are creating ourselves. So those whats are the opportunity for me to fulfill the purpose, for me to fulfill the why.
Why?
So knowing your purpose, knowing your mission and purpose, knowing your dharma is real handy, but it's not necessary. But just get in alignment with what is your spiritual path. How are you growing? When you look down the lines of probability of your life, do you want to be a healer? Do you want to be a teacher? How do you want to serve? How do you want to learn and grow? And then you start to look for whats that are in alignment with your why you're doing things.
So how do you get to that why? What are some tools or steps you can take to really understand why do I want to create in general? Because I think that seems challenging.
Well, it is. At the age of 43, I had not made much progress in the why. And that's why I was miserable, because I didn't have purpose. I didn't understand a greater reason for life besides make a bunch of money and try to be happy. And so I followed the recipe of society, and that did not produce the happiness because I had the what's and didn't have the why. So first thing I would say is you got to go inside. So instead of going outside, so if I'm looking at you know, looking at the car, looking at the house, looking at the romantic partner, looking at, you know, a new boat. That's the what. I'm looking outside of myself. So the first step is to look inside of myself, get quiet. It's really helpful. You know, all the concentration, attention, stillness practices, meditation, prayer, any of these things that help us to get quiet, breathing techniques, walking in nature, being by yourself, all of these things would be great ways. Some journaling, some stream of consciousness writing, deep contemplation of potentially the career you had where you were the happiest, or the activity that you do currently that provides the most fulfillment. Maybe it's a hobby, maybe it's a volunteer work. Maybe if you're blessed, it's your job and you make a bunch of money. That's the alignment right there. So
yeah, as long as you like that job.
yeah, right. As long as you like
So
that
that's
job.
the key. And that kind of goes to, I think, back to the why, because we want to spend, it sounds like we want to spend most of our time on the why.
Well, we want to start there. So creation from the inside out, again, I think. So we don't want our creations to be hollow, because then they're meaningful. And if you think of hollow, it's unfulfilled. Why? Because it's hollow. It's not filled up. But we need to fill it ourselves. And what we fill it with is purpose, intention, love, desire, enthusiasm.
I think just connecting with that why that you're saying is, sometimes for me, what happens when I connect with a feeling, when I'm in the flow, let's say, and sometimes it actually happens when I'm concentrating on something that has nothing to do with anything, like I'm at work working on a spreadsheet, but I'm concentrated, my attention is on what I'm doing completely.
Right.
And then there's an opening that happens in my mind, and I receive an image of a wellness place with a dome. This is a new one that I've received. It's like a domed wellness studio kind of thing.
Who's going to build that dome? Me,
probably
right?
you.
Got to put on my list.
We need a dance floor.
A dance floor, sure,
like a big
of course,
one
right? I just worked that right in there.
Dallas Movement Collective, so they can have a big dance floor. But anyway, so I received that inner like connection, but that's kind of a what? But it feels like a dharmic.
Yeah, it's going inside. Emotions are the first level into subconscious mind. So you're moving inside. So I think that's a good bridge, I think, for people, is get in touch with your feeling and let that guide you.
Another thing I think in terms of getting to a why is sometimes the why can come from a place of, I think we talked about this last week, of dissatisfaction.
Oh, yeah.
It can be, I'm very dissatisfied with the present conditions. And so that's an opportunity to not necessarily externalize and look outside and go, well, it's because my job sucks, or because my partner's terrible, or the economy is bad, or all the things. It's to say, okay, why am I dissatisfied even more deeply, and what do I need? What's my inner need? And that's another why that you can identify within yourself to understand more of the what, and use that energy in a way that can support you.
Right. A word comes to mind that I think is really important to think about in this why portion, and that's honesty. And when we get honest, so a lot of times we compare ourselves to others, right? And a lot of that is dishonest. So I was thinking about something the other day, and somebody that has built something of a business, and I had the thought went through my mind. It was like, wow. I was like, wouldn't that be cool if I built something like that? And they're not in this area, and it's kind of related to some things that I do. And I thought, wow, they've got a really cool business model there. I like that. And then I instantly, within seconds, I thought about the path to get there. And I realized that what they had done and what they had been willing to do, I'm not willing to do. And I immediately said, I could do that. However, it's going to cost me this, and this. And these are really important to me. So I decided that I'm going to borrow some of their ideas, and I'm going to make a slight modification. However, for me to actually have what they have would require massive shifts in my attention and resources. And the honest thing is, I'm not willing to do that. So
I think that goes back to the why, is to say, just because there's for example, in this example of the wellness retreat dome center.
Oh, yeah.
I would need to ask myself, is that in alignment with my mission and purpose, with the things that I want to create in the world or experience in the world? For example, if I see someone, and this happens at work all the time, someone gets promoted to president or CEO or general manager, and sometimes there's a part of me that's like, I
I
could
could
be,
do that, right.
I have capacities to be a general manager. And then I think, well, I know what are those steps? And I kind of even know what those steps would be, but it's like, well, that's really not what I'm here to do. I'm not here to be a general manager. The person that actually this person is a very dear mentor of mine at work, and he just got promoted. He has done a lot to get himself there, and he's really wanted that. And it's really in alignment with his mission and purpose. He's living in alignment with that. So even though there's aspects of, like you're saying, of what I might want from that, it might be, oh, I want to be a director of a, I don't know,
division.
A division that maybe sells sustainable products. Maybe that would be more in alignment with my mission and purpose. I'm just kind of speaking. And sometimes I think,
or you could be the member on a not-for-profit. You could be on the board. You could be a board member.
I'm thinking about joining that board, actually.
You are on the board.
Okay, yeah, I'm just joking. So what I was gonna say is, when we desire things, it's really good to ask questions of what is the deeper desire? Where is the alignment? And is this right for me now in this present moment? Is it the right thing I should be doing?
Right.
And that keeps you grounded. It brings you in the present moment, and creation can only happen when you're present. You can't do it in the future or in the past or in lack. When you come into the present moment and say, yes, this is what I need. It's an inner need. It's good for me. It's in alignment, and it'll help other people. So yes, I should move towards this. And some of the steps to get there, Brian already mentioned them. It might not be an immediate. You might not always know, and that's okay too. You might want to contemplate it. This is a great time of the year to do that, to take some space, to reduce your activity, even though most people increase activity.
Right. It's
party and
kind of the opposite of what.
But I've been trying to be more mindful of, like, what are the things I'm going to engage with? And we've been thinking of that. How can we slow down? Slowing down to receive what is in alignment for you.
Yep. Very, very cool. Very cool. Yeah. So we want to contemplate the why and then contemplate the what and see if there's alignment, see if there's a connection there.
And when there is alignment, it's almost miraculous. It's a miracle when that alignment happens. I have an example of that alignment.
Sure.
When I left the School of Metaphysics, or completed my course of study at the School of Metaphysics, I was not working at the time. I had been laid off and had some money to live off of on a farm, which was, there was alignment for that to even happen. Another story for another time. And when I left, I had money in my bank account, but I felt this kind of like, I need to be working, like this tension inside of myself. Or what am I doing next? I didn't know who I was or what I was going to do. I was very lost in some ways. And sometimes we're lost, and that's okay too. Sometimes you have to be lost to be found again.
Yep.
And so I remember going back to my first job that I ever had at Quest Diagnostics, getting paid less than I was getting paid when I first started working there. So I felt like a very, like I was taking many steps back, and I felt really bad about myself.
Yeah.
And then I thought, I have tools. I know these tools. And so I thought about exactly that. Why do I want what I want? And I very deeply went inside and thought of where I wanted to work and why I wanted to work there. And part of why I wanted to work is to make money so we could fulfill our other dreams that we had, that now we are able to do, partially because of that. And I created a mind map very specifically of all of it was a what, but it was coming from an inner place of what kind of environment do I want to be in that would be in alignment with me? And I manifested a job right before that to work at a 7-Eleven plant, to be a Six Sigma, like person that checks quality. It would not have been a good choice. That's not me. I would never care about the specifics of something like that. I would be a terrible person for that job. But I almost took it because I felt I need a job. I need to get, but Brian was like, wait, that's not, just wait. And so then a couple weeks later, after, I wish I had the mind map. I got called into an interview that I didn't actually apply for. I didn't apply to Stryker. They called me. they found me on LinkedIn. And there was like 7 people you had to interview with. By the 6th person, I had to pull out my mind map and be like, I just have to say, this is crazy. Like, I have to work here because look, like this is in alignment. And so obviously I've been there for 6 years and lots of growth. So that's a story that I think is a good one.
Something I'd like to say too is that, so this 6 years of growth where she's been promoted several times and now is on a really important international team facilitating massive change. And there's been some resistance at times of her what she's doing and stuff. And what I've seen is I think that she's fulfilled some subconscious desires that weren't conscious. And this particular position has not only been extraordinarily beneficial and it's aided her to grow and develop her conscious mind. And she has said that many times to me. It's
Even
like,
with
wow,
the people that I work with, they have qualities that I need.
Right. Because she's great in the subconscious mind. She studied all this metaphysical stuff, has got all that stuff. And what this job is doing, it's really pushing the conscious mind sometimes beyond her comfort limit. And that's where the growth
which is good. And so that kind of goes back to like wherever situation you're in is kind of assessing. Because the universal truth is that wherever you are is exactly where you're supposed to be. Even if it feels like you're not. Doesn't mean that you shouldn't, doesn't mean that it's always maybe enjoyable, but it's exactly where you need to be. And if you can receive it and really learn from it, you can then go to something else that maybe is more fulfilling or more enjoyable. And
so we naturally move from discomfort into comfort. And as we mature spiritually, we realize that the comfort that we're moving forward to is of greater responsibility. The comfort is not avoidance. The comfort comes from being better. And when we're better, then we're more comfortable in the same situation.
And we recognize, I think, in the society that we've live in, there, even in the conscious movement and new age, I guess you would call it, there's a lot of talk about you should have everything you want and everything you want is exactly, and that's true. You should have everything you want and you should enjoy all those things, but you're not only here to be satisfied. You're also here to experience the dissatisfaction and align with it, become objective with it and understand it. And Jack Kornfield, I was thinking that, but I was like, I must be wrong. Because all I heard was, well, like, other new age stuff. It's like, no, like if doesn't feel good and it's not in alignment, you shouldn't do it. And it's like, man, then maybe I'm just not enlightened, maybe I'm not thinking about it correctly. But then when I listen to Jack Kornfield, which I really do respect, he's like, the society that was created is all about satisfaction and instant satisfaction and enjoyment and joy and receiving all the things you want. And it's a lie. So then when things happen, not that it's a lie, but it's a mirage, because the truth is that's not what existence is about. The existence is dual in that there's light and dark. And so because there's light and dark, you're going to need to go into discomforting things, both within yourself. They call it shadow work these days, going into the shadow. And in the physical, there's shadow work. There's things to do that you don't want to do. You don't want to maybe take out the trash. It smells bad. Daria can't even be close to the trash. But it's something you need to do. You got to take out the trash.
Yeah. So a couple things. I think I saw a connection to your favorite, Andrew Huberman. He talks about the more
is it Andrew Huberman?
I believe
it
so.
is
Andrew Huberman. Yeah.
I do love him.
She's quoted him a million times.
I have a secret crush on him. Like if I did meet him.
So she's shocked the fact that I'm bringing up Andrew Huberman, but
Brian doesn't.
So
he likes.
No, I respect him. There's perspectives. There's a lot of and the Abraham Hicks perspective is a very different one than the Andrew Huberman, and they both have value and they both have truth. They're just very different perspectives. And when I can receive and understand both perspectives, I understand more. And Huberman talks about this very fact that when we get this instant gratification, it does not satisfy
long term.
It
actually causes dissatisfaction.
When you work towards something and then you get it, that is what gives you long-term satisfaction. So we need to work more. I'd like to quote those great spiritual masters who told us you can't always get what you want.
Who was that?
But you get what you need. The Rolling Stones.
Oh.
Mick Jagger, a spiritual master.
Well,
there's great truth to that, though.
You get what you get, and you don't throw a fit. Daria said that the other day. I don't think
go.
she made it up, but
there you
it's
go.
something that little kids say.
So right. So the understanding that everything's always perfect in the way that it's the result of our thoughts. Our thoughts of yesterday have create the you of today and the situation of today. And then so sometimes that today is so uncomfortable that it becomes the motivation for me to make another choice. And when I make a choice, things change. So what we want to do is we want to make choices that are in alignment with our why to get the what. So now I think we need to talk about how.
The how. And that's when we were saying, well, Brian and I were talking about it beforehand. We usually get into slight fights when we're trying to decide.
We debate. We debate. This is how we learn and grow. We learn and grow.
And so I was saying, and Brian was like,
no,
well, the how is none of your business. And he wasn't really talking to me, but it's like, and so why is that? So why is that?
Okay, so the why and the what is the function of the conscious mind. You want to know why to the best of your ability. Contemplate, how am I going to benefit? How am I going to grow? What am I adding to myself? Why? What's the purpose? What's the point? The what is what I want. You want to clarify that. You want to see it as clearly as possible. You want to feed that. You want to write it down. You want to get pictures of it. You want to do vision boards. All those things that we can dive deep into that what. You want to get that clarity in mind of that. That's all conscious mind. The how is how it arrives. And that is the function of subconscious mind and not conscious mind. And that's the source of most of the problem. If you're doing the what and the why, then stop and just send it out and wait to receive. And then you want to dance with it a little bit. So you might get some clues to the next step. But the universe is in charge of the how. So that person that you don't know, that company Stryker that you don't know, reaches out to you. Why? Because you have your why and your what.
And I was on LinkedIn. I just wasn't right. I didn't apply to that one. So I was applying to places.
So you open yourself up to possibilities. You don't hide. You make yourself available. You might mention your desires to other people. That's a great way to broadcast it. You mentally broadcast it with your prayer, with your meditations. You send it out to other subconscious minds. You send it out to God and the universe. You send out these desires. And then guess what? They hit other people that have the same desires. Companies that are looking for you right now. Romantic partners that are looking for you right now. Are you doing the work to attract them
align
and to allow that to come to you? Get your what and your why figured out.
And also with the, like you said, doing the work, and sometimes maybe the work is just relaxing and allowing and or just pursuing something else that can open that door.
Yeah.
I do want to say something about the how that I think stops a lot of people, and it's also, it has stopped me. There's two good examples. One is the harmonium. I've been wanting, I have this thing where when I was younger, I was taken to piano lessons, but I didn't learn, blah, blah, blah. So I have this resistance and feel bad about it, I guess, because I could have learned it and I didn't. So anyway, there was this desire that I thought, I really want to learn how to play an instrument. And I thought, well, I really want to learn the harmonium because I can use it in my retreats and help people. Well, I don't have the best singing voice either. So there's challenges on both ends of things, something to work on, right? And so there was, for a while there, I'm like, but how's this going to work? I can't sing. I don't even know how to sing. I don't know how to play the harmonium. How am I going to get one?
They're expensive.
They're expensive. Like all these things. It felt like a very, very far away from me. And then I think I did just after the last retreat, we had some challenges. It was great, but my voice cracked in the middle. And I'm like, I really do need to learn how. And the why is because I want to create healing spaces. And this is part of my work. And so I was very connected to that. And it wasn't from a place of lack. It was like, yes, this will help everything.
This is how I want to grow.
This is how I want to grow. This is good for me. I understood how beneficial it would be for me to go through that doorway of that musical portal. And then about a week ago, a great friend, and I communicated to the community that I really want to learn how to play an instrument, and I'm open, and because there's a lot of amazing artists in the community. So it was like perfect, like just letting them know and being humble. That's another thing. Sometimes we can get kind of maybe not so humble and just being humble. I don't know how to play an instrument. I don't even know where to start, but just throwing it out there that that's my desire. So a great friend reached out and said, hey, there's a harmonium that's needing to be sold, and we thought of you first. I'm going to hold it for you. And it was a great price. It's directly from India. I even got a lesson, a quick lesson on how to use it. And now I'm practicing. So that's if you get too caught up in like, well, how am I going to do this? Then you get stuck. Another example, and I feel like I'm talking a lot today. You have an example
too. Yeah.
Go ahead. You give me your example.
So related to this in multiple ways. So I also took guitar lesson for about a week and a half, and it hurt my fingers. I think I was in 6th or 7th grade. And anyway, my desire to become a rock star lasted about a week and a half, and I said, the hell with it. So anyway, so I also have an appreciation of music. However, I've never learned how to play an instrument. And I've kind of thought about the piano. That's a lie. I learned how to play Silent Night on an organ when I was a kid.
That's cool.
Yeah.
And you would do well with the harmonium then.
So
similar.
Possibly. We'll see.
I'm trying to get him to help me learn.
So anyway, we had talked about, wouldn't it be nice to have the kids have piano lessons, whether we know people that have a piano, etc. So we get a call out of the blue from some friends of us that say, hey, we're moving far away, and we have this piano that's been in our family, and we don't want to sell it. We don't want to give it away. We may want it back, but can we lend it to you for free for maybe 5 years, and we'll deliver it from out of town
tune it for you,
and we'll pay to have it tuned. And I said, yes, we'll do that. So now we have this wonderful piano.
And it was a win for them because they wouldn't, they would keep, they didn't want to get rid of the piano.
Fulfilled their desire, fulfilled our desire. And Daria's really got some talent. Let me tell you, she has got some talent. So Daria and I are working with the piano, but it gets better than that. So the guy that ends up tuning the piano. So I have a desire. I have a remodeling company, and I do a little bit of remodeling, but I'm very, very particular about what I do and who I do it for because of the why, right? The why. I'm not just trying to make money. I want to do a little bit of remodeling, bring in a little bit of income. I enjoy it. I enjoy the creativity, and I enjoy helping people. That's the service. My company is At Your Service Remodeling. And so I said just a couple of weeks ago, I said, I kind of need to think about, lining up some sort of a job next year. I don't want it to be too big. I don't want it to be too small. And I want it to be for somebody that I'm really connected to that needs my help. Guess what? The piano guy starts talking to me. He's talking about all this spiritual stuff and all this, and we're just connecting. In fact, to the point where he can't even get his job done. We have to separate because we're getting along so well. We traded phone numbers and everything. By the way, he has this house. He's really impressed with the remodeling that we did. Wanted to know who did it. I said, I did it. I'm a general contractor. I'm mainly retired. He goes, would you be willing to help me? Of course I will. I've been waiting for you. I just set the intention forth. So not only did he tune our piano, and now I've got this really awesome guy. I talked to him on the phone the other day. We talked for 30 minutes. Really easy.
Best friends for life.
It's crazy. We're really adding to each other's spiritual understanding.
That's so cool.
He comes from a very different background, kind of a conservative, Baptist Christian background, and his thoughts have evolved to where they are now. And I come out of a Catholic background, and then through this metaphysical thing, and we're meeting right now.
That's cool.
And it's just, and I'm like, are you kidding me? I was like, all of these things are blending in. I could have never predicted the how, but we were open to it because we had our why, we had our what, and the how just showed up.
Yeah, that's so beautiful. And I think how to get to that place of, they call it the flow state. How do you, once you know the what and the why, then you put yourself in this flow state that creates the alignment. And I think the way that you get to that flow state is by having activities and actions that match the things that you want. So for me, I was going to kirtans and listening to kirtan music and doing those kind of things, communicating my desire for you. I don't know what you were
You
doing.
get
You were
your-
doing some things.
Well, yeah, I was,
You were doing
hanging
things
out with
that
yeah.
doing things that were in alignment with your desire,
Right.
working on your waterfall, those
Yeah,
kind of
all
things.
kinds of, yeah.
And so you
And so
act
you
as
put
if,
yourself in that, you put yourself in a field of feeling really good, being happy and being in a good
and enjoy the
vibration.
things you want. So
It changed her vibration.
sometimes this is a little inside tip for anyone that wants to be in a relationship, and you feel kind of like this longing for being in a romantic relationship and it's just not quite working out in the moment. And so the best thing to do is go hang out with really good friends and develop intimate bonds and connections, and get to know new people and follow your passions, because it mimics the feeling of being in love. And it can be, you can be in love with a lot of things. You don't just have to be in love with a person. It's a little bit easier with a person because it's direct feedback, but you can move yourself in the hobbies and the things you do.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, on a very practical way, you're meeting new people. So your
Right,
chances
right.
go up right away.
Right.
But you're just not in a state of lack. You're fulfilled. You're feeling
Right.
amazing.
Right.
You're like, I'm good. And so you're
people that are-
vibrating with the thing that you desire. Sorry,
people that are in alignment with the why, and they're having fun with a what, whether that be a hobby or they're out dancing or taking an art class or something, that's very attractive. People that are having fun are attractive. So
yeah, totally. And one thing I wanted to say about that is, but because what I've thought about is the point of it all is happiness and fulfillment and peace and contentment anyway, and learning and growing. So the thing that I want is I'm believing it's going to help me feel those things. Why don't I just feel that now? Why don't I experience that now?
Right.
And then vibrationally, I'm aligning with it. But honestly, if it happens or doesn't, I won't even care because I'm already experiencing it. So it's silly, but it's the way that you dance with the universe. And once again, that's why the how is none of your business.
Yep. So turn that over to subconscious mind. Work on the why, go inside. And then once you've got that figured out, then you can look outside and you can start identifying what's, and that's a lot for most of us, those what's just come. Oh, I want that. Oh, I want that. And then we start to say, well, is that in alignment with what I just figured out? And if it's yes, then go ahead and move forward, do the work, and then let it go, release it, and know that subconscious mind, the universe, is working on fulfilling your desires. And then you can just feed those and know it's good for me, it's good for other people, it's good for the world. This is a wonderful thing. So that's the key, the why, the what, and the how. And those are really important aspects of this creation manifestation process. Every year in January, we teach a creative mind and manifestation class. It comes with a creative mind reading. We're teaching very specific scientific steps. So there's 7 steps to visualization. There's a lot of really good analogies that allow us to go deeper into this creation and manifestation
We've
process.
got some activities as well in class and outside of class that
exercises,
yeah. And also just being in a container. Anytime you create a container and you have an intention for that container and then you enter into that, then it creates the opportunity to learn and master that skill. So all of those things. So reach out to us if you have questions about that. Let us know, give us feedback. We love doing this, but we'd love to hear feedback on how it can always be better. Right. And yeah, if you've got any thoughts, you got any ideas, you got some topics, if you want to be on this podcast, let us know and we'll see we want to expand to that. As you can see, we're still working out some of the technical aspects. We're getting better though. The other thing that we do have a little bit of I will do a teaser for next year is one thing we will be doing is putting out a post to whoever has had a reading in the past and it's just a reading. It doesn't have to be from us, just any reading you've ever had, because I know there's other readers. It just needs to be transcribed. The reading needs to be transcribed, meaning like there's the creative mind reading, there's just different types of readings. So it doesn't matter which one you want to go through, and you just want to make sure that it's transcribed. And then what we'll do is we'll just every month we'll pick one person and you'll come on and you'll go over your reading with us live for the podcast. So the only piece of that would be for you to be okay with sharing whatever it is
Right.
online.
But yeah, it's a good way to go deeper into your reading, and that would be free. We offer coaching, but this would be a great opportunity. You're helping us, you're helping other people to understand your reading and how that relates to you and how you're using your mind and all that stuff. So,
Yeah, and how you can apply it for the future.
And I'll say that when you get up live and start talking to people, whether it be a podcast or a class or a coaching call, usually both people, the teachers and the students, are learning and growing.
And everyone listening.
The coach and the client are learning and growing through the discussion of that.
Yeah, the discussion is so important. We also want to do that with the questions to the universe, is to do discussions on it.
Right.
So
Anyway.
A lot of good things to come. Thank you for
Yeah.
listening. Have a great Sunday, and we'll talk to you soon.
Bye.
Bye.